There's a wealth gap, and we'll be talking a lot about the wealth gap. This is the wealth going on this axis. Wealth is increasing this way, and this then measures your net worth. There are two kinds of measurement, one based on arithmetic and another one based on geometric. The geometric is when you go and you get interest on interest. Arithmetic is when you simply get interest. And we'll be focusing on how to make not only arithmetic interest, but to get geometric interest. In the slide here, you see that the arithmetic interest or the arithmetic growth is kind of linear and doesn't get very, very high. And there's a gap between the wealth developed by compound interest. And the difference between the growth and compound interest and simple interest leaves a big gap for us. That gap affects the buying power, it affects the purchasing power, and it does affect political power, even though many people will say they don't connect, but they do. Next slide. There is a wealth disparity and exponential growth problem. That is the problem that we're dealing with, the wealth disparity. So the gap that we're talking about here, as you can see, is getting bigger with time. And the 2% of the people are probably the number that is correct for this curve, whereas the majority of the people, 98%, are on this curve, and it's a linear curve. And you notice here that in early time the gap is this much, and with time the gap gets humongously different. The problem that we have today to solve is we've got to keep this gap from getting bigger. And this presentation will talk about how to get this gap smaller. We want to identify the problem in a general way. Back in 1798, there was an economist by the name of Malthus who looked at this problem, and what he said is, if population continues to grow geometrically, while food grows arithmetically, starvation and misery are bound to follow. That's the Malthus theory, and by the way, it has been shown that it is a correct theory. Next slide. This curve shows how to remove the arithmetic to the geometric. That's the solution. And how you do it is you simply have this geometric curve, and then you have what was the arithmetic curve here start to look like a geometric curve. So over time, the gap, as you can see, that was this size now, even though it looks bigger here, but compared to the arithmetic curve, the gap is much smaller. And it is a gap that we need to control. Next slide. True individual freedom cannot exist without economic security and independence. Some of us here remember Franklin D. Roosevelt very well, and this is the kind of statement that he, as president, put forth and offers so much promise to the American people. So we are looking to a true individual freedom. It exists without it cannot exist without economic security and independence.